Hello and welcome to the webinar, The Digitally Integrated Human-Centered Approach to Patient Engagement. My name is Megan Billingsley and I'm excited to moderate this discussion today. Today's discussion with VMSBioMarketing is on trends we're seeing as biopharma continues to dive feet first into digital health and how technology solution providers are partnering with companies to innovate on their patient support model to better meet consumer expectations, build authentic patient relationships, and glean rich insights at scale to inform brand strategy. Before getting started, we have a few simple housekeeping matters for our viewers. At the bottom of your screen, you'll find some application widgets for your use. These widgets are all resizable and movable, so feel free to move them around to optimize your desktop space. The slides will advance automatically throughout the presentation. To enlarge the slides, click the Enlarge Slides button in the top right-hand corner of your presentation window. Today we'll be hearing from Jennifer Wilson, Chief Growth Officer with VMSBioMarketing. As Chief Growth Officer, Jen Wilson plays a senior role in product development with a relentless passion to improve the way healthcare is delivered and provided to patients. A dynamic executive who has innovated across life sciences and healthcare services, Jen has led transformational projects for companies such as Therapeutics MD, Valiant Pharmaceuticals, Cardinal Health, Anthem, and IASIS Healthcare. She began her career in investment banking and has M&A experience leading strategic transactions totaling over $78 billion. In 2019, Jen was honored in the 16th Annual Stevie Awards for Women in Business as a finalist for Female Executive of the Year. Jen, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, and now I'll hand it off to you.
Great, thank you. And hi, everyone. I'm Jen Wilson. I'm the Chief Growth Officer at VMSBioMarketing. VMS is a leading patient engagement provider for the biopharma industry. We help our clients reinvent the patient experience through our platform called One Voice, which uniquely combines the data-driven technology and clinical human interventions to deliver holistic patient support in a dynamic and personalized way. By leveraging an evidence-based, patient-centric approach to engagement, we help patients from the time of prescription through ongoing therapy to achieve their best medication outcome. And in doing so, we improve business performance by reducing abandonment and increasing adherence. Through these patient engagement programs, our clients have not only been able to build sustained relationships with their patients, but also deliver a differentiated, superior patient experience that is enhanced through rich, real-world data and insights. As the market for digital health applications grows exponentially, we know patients are rapidly embracing a variety of digital health tools to help control their health and better manage their chronic disease. While biopharma has played a part in this evolution, with many innovative companies placing big bets, we're still really early and often regarded as lagging in relation to other healthcare verticals and the adoption of these digital tools. Today, I'm excited to talk about the opportunity that exists for the biopharma industry if we are, in fact, successful in embracing digital health. Why the time is now for us to accelerate our investment and focus on the space, and how following a patient-centric vision can help in bringing novel and advanced digital health tools into the commercial patient engagement strategy. Traditionally in our industry, we've had truly a human-only approach to patient engagement. And we just cannot continue in this model. It's just equal parts inefficient, inconsistent, and extremely expensive to invest in that much personnel. And what we're really kind of on the other side of that spectrum is this completely and only digital model, which really is not sufficient to address the complex healthcare needs, especially in specialty space. And so what we're focusing on today is that right balance. How do we achieve that right balance between the power of that human connection in the clinical setting and the efficiency and the effectiveness and the scalability of digital tools? And we believe that we're really going to win when we combine these two elements in the right way. As we know, we can never technology our way out of a great healthcare experience. At some point, you really need that human, that clinical intervention in so many ways. But combining that into the right degree with digital tools is really how we're going to move into the future with a human-centered approach. Let's start by defining what we mean by digital health. Broadly, digital health can be defined as the application of digital technology to improve health or care delivery. Within digital health, there are several categories of innovation, including mobile health, health technology information, wearable devices, telehealth, telemedicine, and personalized medicine. Digital health can also be understood as really the convergence of digital technologies, especially information and communication technologies and data and analytics, with elements and decision-making structures of the traditional care value chain. At the core, these technologies really empower consumers to be better informed decision makers about their own health, can provide new options for facilitating prevention, early diagnosis of life-threatening diseases, and management of chronic conditions outside of the traditional healthcare setting. As of 2021, the digital health U.S. market represented a market size of $180 billion, with an expected compounded annual growth rate of over 20% through 2030. This CAGR is really being pushed by a $5 billion plus quarterly investment into the space. So McKinsey recently provided a great framework by which to subdivide the various value drivers being generated from digital health tools. Nearly all digital health technologies can be segmented into 9 value pools, and these 9 pools can be rolled up into 5 main categories: R&D, wellness and disease prevention, screening and diagnosis, care delivery, and finance and operations. Within R&D, the focus of digital health continues to be accelerating and enhancing the drug discovery process. Using AI and machine learning tools have allowed biopharma to really unlock the potential of precision medicine, fundamentally changing what R&D looks like for the industry. Within wellness and disease prevention, we can see how digital health is putting the consumer in control as patients seek to play a larger role in their own healthcare journeys. Digital health solutions like Apple Watch, Fitbit, wearables, alongside meditation apps like Calm and Headspace become really important and impactful. Screening and diagnosis is another major category for digital health innovation. Similar to digital therapeutics that are enhancing care delivery, many medical technology companies are working on digital diagnostic tools to intercept disease earlier and identify the right path for treatment. As expected, most digital health players develop technologies that have a direct impact on patient care. About 49%, in fact, of the digital health companies fall into the category of care delivery, where the value creation of digital tools is focused on providing more effective therapies, enhanced remote support, and easy access to supply. COVID-19 was a major accelerant of innovation in this category, particularly with the numerous telehealth and remote monitoring companies that embraced the fully virtual care delivery model that we're in. Specific to effective therapies, this work spans actual medications like digital therapeutics to patient engagement types of platforms like VMS that are helping with adherence, coaching, and education. Lastly, finance and operations. What I want to highlight here is just how digital health tools are getting us closer to value-based contracting, something we've all been talking about for a very long time, but the industry has been extremely slow to adopt it broadly. But these technologies are making more progress than ever toward the ability to truly contract on value, which has such massive implications for population health management. Based on a recent VS analysis, digital health represents 100 billion plus opportunities for pharma. The largest portion of this opportunity lies within supporting existing and core products. Pharma can be using these digital health solutions to increase diagnosis, treatment eligibility, for example. Digital biomarkers can help find more patients by widely democratizing assessment capabilities. 30% of the opportunity is bucketed into creating value for pharma that is not being realized today. A major area within this is the digital therapeutics realm. The space is a good potential fit for pharma capabilities like regulatory approvals and the commercialization of science-based products. The opportunity around digital health is really estimated to be more than $9 billion by 2025, according to a Grandview research, and see an annual growth rate of about 20%. The final bucket on the right, and one that we covered in the previous slide when we're doing the McKinsey work, is within R&D. Digital health also holds significant promise to transform the drug discovery process by digitizing many currently disjointed processes, from finding and recruiting patients to monitoring and collecting data and ensuring compliance to protocol. Digital health tools will make these trials much more simple, smaller, cheaper, faster. Additionally, digital biomarkers and novel endpoints, which enable patient data to be captured digitally outside of the clinic, dramatically enhance the level of data that trials are able to collect, and therefore enhance the precise understanding of disease and product effectiveness. So we're going to talk about kind of what our leaders within the pharma industry are saying about digital health solutions, the relevance to their business, kind of, and the impact that they see these tools having in the future. The analysis that we just went through by CS is kind of an outside looking in, and here we're going to analyze what people actually in the industry are saying. And 68% of pharma leaders have said that digital health solutions are highly relevant to their business. And then in another survey done by Arthur D. Little, 84% of pharma leaders consider it to be absolutely crucial to have a digital health strategy in today's environment. Their hopes in doing so really focus on both enhancing the current business, with 94% believing that digital health can do and generate new business value, which 77% believe digital health can do. Consequently, it comes as no surprise that all digital health will have an important impact on competitive advantages in the pharma industry. It's a really exciting time to be in the patient engagement space, because we're seeing these really exciting technologies being applied in the actual commercialization of drugs, specifically around using, for example, AI-based engagement recommendations for a patient. So how do we use patient data to recommend to our clinicians what the next best intervention is, and whether that intervention should be a human intervention or a digital or automated intervention, or the offering up of some self-serve tools. The body of patient data that we now have access to is so much more robust, and how we apply that data to these care models is really exciting, kind of next step in patient engagement. We're also seeing kind of next-gen HCP portals using natural language processing powered by chatbots, for example, being used in innovating in HCP education models. So how do we provide on-demand tools and information to our healthcare providers to help patients start therapy at the time that they need it? And this is a really exciting, new innovation in healthcare engagement, healthcare provider engagement, beyond just hiring as many people as we can and sending them into offices. Connected patient platforms such as wearable and smart devices. This is providing such an incredible body of data, real world data about patients in their everyday lives. And so similar to, this juxtaposition of trying to make healthcare decisions based on a very limited amount of time that patients actually spend in a clinical setting, and now we have data on how they're living their lives. And how we use that data to inform just-in-time interventions is a really exciting thing, for example, that VMS is doing it in partnership with big data companies. This all really provides a 360-degree view of the patient, which is such a huge step forward from more antiquated care delivery models, where, like I said, you're really limited on treating the patient just based on data or information that you're getting at the time that they present in a clinical setting. It's a really, really exciting time as these innovative digital tools make their way kind of from R&D into the commercial space. So overall, however, the adoption of digital health has been markedly slow in pharma. So, digital health efforts haven't really had commercial relevant business cases with preset KPIs. So, what does that mean? It means that sometimes we just develop tools for innovation's sake. Hey, let's make an app, put it out into the marketplace, and we're cool now, right? But what business problem are we solving with this? And I think that's where some of the tools we've developed in our industry have fallen short. They have to be solving a specific patient or business problem and then monitored on an ongoing basis and really measuring the value that those tools are delivering. This requires a big culture shift from a product-based decision-making culture to a patient-centric decision-making culture. And even with a great culture change like that, we face an uphill battle. Consumers want to engage with brands, products, and companies that they trust. And consumer trust is low in the pharmaceutical industry. And so as we move to this patient-centric model, how do we help our patients reach their best medication outcomes? That's really what our digital tools need to be focused on, and patients can feel that, and we'll build trust as we go. So now is the time for pharma to catch up on the adoption of these digital patient-centric tools. This change is overdue. The COVID-19 pandemic really helped to increase patient trust of the pharmaceutical industry, and it also accelerated the adoption of digital care models by patients and providers. So that is a tailwind kind of pushing these trends forward in our industry. At the same time, the aging population has exponentially increased the total population of patients for pharma to support. So this is really driving a greater need for efficiency through digital technology. We simply can't service the massive populations that we need to service based on kind of a human-only approach. And healthcare consumerism has made it so 76% of patients feel that pharma has a responsibility to provide tools and services that complement their products. Patients expect a consumer experience out of their pharmaceutical product, not just a pill and a bottle and just kind of a prescribe and forget type of model. Lastly, the continued attention on digital health has prompted the FDA to create a more favorable regulatory environment, bringing much needed structure and process to the space to enable innovation. So how do we work to address pushing this forward in our space? And so to seize the opportunity, we've outlined kind of 5 things that really matter the most. First, pharma can't deliver with a go-it-alone model. Success requires creative partnerships with other players. Pharmaceutical companies can build digital capabilities internally, absolutely, but forming partnerships that allow them to scale and implement solutions faster is critical. Pharma companies are always innovating, but primarily in chemistry and not digital solutions. The pharma industry needs assistance with digital innovations, development, commercialization, and support. These needs are well matched to the strengths of many digital health startups that exist out there today. And that's why 71% of pharma leaders surveyed believe collaborating with partners is key to filling these capability gaps and achieving the speed that's desired and required by our consumers. Second, we need to modernize patient services. Over the past few years, the user experience for pharma's core patient services, education, enrollment, access, affordability, they've really fallen short behind the standards set by digital and omni-channel healthcare provider interactions. So, for example, pharma-provided services they really only reach 3 to 5% of eligible patient populations, largely due to, the lack of personalization and discoverability. And the average NPS score of those services is about 5.2 out of 100. By bringing the experience to the future, ZS estimates that there's a 50 to 100% improvement coming in the patient engagement space through the use of these services. Third, there needs to be an emphasis on integration, and this is such a critical piece. The most common and core belief about digital health ecosystems is that patients are looking for integrated experiences, integrated journeys, not these kind of siloed tools, siloed experiences that don't have anything to do with one another or aren't integrated and kind of speaking to each other, creating a cohesive experience for the patient. The number one factor that predicts long-term patient engagement with digital health solutions is that there is this cohesive patient journey that's integrated. That's such a critical part, and where we see many of our pharmaceutical clients struggling is how to integrate all of these very valuable patient services that they're investing in into one cohesive experience. Fourth, we need to drive a patient-first culture and operating model. 62% of pharma leaders believe this is the most critical factor to embrace digital health successfully. To do this effectively, the company should shift the lens from brands to patients. We need to target efforts at the right leverage points along the patient journey and apply a therapeutic area-specific lens to it. This will require a shift to metrics we use to evaluate business performance as well. For example, metrics like net promoter scores, which includes adherence improvement, right? We should start to become these measures of patient satisfaction should start to become more prominent measures used in conjunction with new patient starts or drug sales. Looking at recent patient feedback on pharma digital health solutions, what's evident is that there's a sizable gap between interest and adoption of healthcare technology. And I think we've all really experienced this in the industry of all of this, this felt need to have these digital tools, and then adoption continuously falls short. And this shows us that patients are still looking for more from us. The primary drivers of the slow adoption have been first and foremost low awareness of the availability of these tools. And in order to realize the benefits, pharma must develop and market the digital health offerings strategically to ensure patients are in the know about what's available to them. So we can't just develop these great tools and then not market and really invest in driving awareness of them. So, and secondly, access and cost. Even if we are aware, it's a huge driver of how do we get access to maybe people without a reliable internet or innovative devices to access these tools. Assuming you can overcome that, there is always a patient readiness and willingness to change that requires a common understanding of health needs and goals, as well as digital literacy, language, and even emotional barriers and motivations. Research shows older adults in good health are more likely to use health apps than their peers in fair or even poor health. The final barrier we're seeing is just confusing technology. Often what seems simple to engineers is just not simple to the end user. With little training and support, patients have to get knowledgeable and understand how the digital health solution fits into their healthcare regime and their everyday lives. This confusion is compounded really by little understanding of what's happening with their data and how their information is being kept private and secure. And this is, where transparency becomes so important. Patients are using these tools because they want to feel in control and they want to feel empowered to be a part in these healthcare decisions. And so being as transparent as possible with them about how these data on them are being used is so critical in driving trust. In an AMA survey, 92% of patients reported being worried about their privacy within these digital health tools. So there's a long way for us to go, and engagement or adoption is just the first step. Achieving long-term use remains a challenge across all patient populations, but motivations for stopping are easy to understand. Apps require too much work and can feel like homework, so users, they just simply lose interest after time. Nor does it help that most apps aren't integrated with other patient portals, clinical systems that patients typically use to engage with their providers. Digital solutions often operate completely in a silo from the rest of the care plan. And so, again, it just becomes almost another thing you have to do rather than a centralized place to go for understanding, for information, and for progress tracking. If these tools aren't integrated in a way that provides a cohesive experience, it becomes just almost another task on the to-do list. And these solutions can often oversimplify what are really complex and interrelated issues. The structure behind technology is ideal for simple issues like weight loss or A1C tracking. However, a person's health is just really complex and nuanced and unstructured. And that's just another reminder of how digital connection needs to be accompanied by human clinical intervention. Accenture reports that fewer than 40% of people are comfortable using apps or virtual care to manage their health. And they're 30% less likely to trust and diagnose a treatment decision that's supported by digital health applications alone. So furthering the importance of digitally integrated but human-centered approach. Lastly, a recent study showed despite 36% of patients using telehealth 4 times higher than the previous year, they also reported limited services and inconsistent care and lower satisfaction than the year prior. When patients deal with difficulty from barriers like limited services and inconsistent care, this can increase barriers to long-term usage. So there are several ways that digital health solution providers are looking to address the barriers to adoption and long-term use. And this will be critical for ensuring that pharma is able to realize the full value of their investments in this area. At VMS, we've addressed low adoption by relying on digitally integrated human-centered approach to patient engagement. We first start with the human connection. It's our core belief, again, that human clinical connection, the ability to speak to a human being that has clinical knowledge and understanding of what you're going through, is such a crucial part of a great healthcare experience. And then we can introduce a digital health tool. This live connection engages the patient, ensuring that they make a connection with a trusted ally, and that this ally earns that trust through their clinical knowledge. And then, provide the opportunity to introduce a supplemental digital health tool as something effective for the patient that they can access any time to support them throughout their healthcare journey. And this ensures that the patient no longer needs to, find or try to find or sift through or our app, for example, a WellKind. Our clinicians are engaging with the patient first, building trust, and then introducing a tool like our app WellKind. Additionally, this individual can be responsible for explaining the aspects of the technology that can be confusing and ensure patients feel safe and secure with the tool, addressing any gaps or questions, especially in digital health literacy or readiness to change that's required for successful adoption. At the same time, to address low levels of long-term use that have been observed in the market, historically we do 2 unique things in the WellKind environment. First, we ensure that all of the experience within the app is coordinated and synchronized with the broader patient support program that's in place. All of the data that we have on our patients, either through our data capture from API feeds from the hub, from the specialty pharmacy and other providers, allows us to maintain interoperability such that the experience for the patient feels seamless and connected, whether they're engaging with VMS, with a human, or with a digital solution. Additionally, by using AI really algorithms, we're able to make the best action recommendations to our clinicians to determine whether a patient needs a human or a digital intervention. We realize that digital solutions can oversimplify, right? Or in certain cases feel limited in what they can provide. So by monitoring patient progress and capturing feedback at critical points throughout their journey, we're adapting our support to really make it personalized to what that patient is experiencing. So another huge opportunity that these digital health tools give us is the opportunity to capture so much more data around what the patient is experiencing, what barriers they perceive to starting on therapy, to staying on therapy, or just to achieving their best health outcome. So looking forward, we know that patients have clear wants and expectations of their digital health landscape. We need to continually be evaluating this to better design, implement, and deploy digital health tools so that we're giving patients what they expect and really letting their wants, needs, and expectations inform our investment decisions. 92% of consumers say that improving the patient experience should be the top goal when deploying these digital health tools. One of the tools talked about most often by consumers is a digital health app, of course, that's personalized to them. 55% of consumers are looking for this type of solution, and within it, they're looking to engage with tools that will make their care more convenient. For example, capabilities such as digital scheduling, online paperwork options, varied self-service tools. They want the experience to be frictionless. And 80% of patients are comfortable with digital channels for healthcare communications, at least some of the time throughout their care experience. Within that experience, more than 30% of consumers expect their digital communication to match their in-person experiences. So again, coming back to this cohesive journey, this cohesive experience where that digital technology is integrated and connected into their overall engagement experience. 67% of patients are open to the use of novel and emerging healthcare technology in preventative care and healthcare monitoring. Aside from these, patients are looking for personalized experience. The same way patients want a customized experience in other areas of life, they're looking for the same in their healthcare. There is no kind of one-size-fits-all that I think is going to get us there when we think about curating a patient experience that differentiates these products. We need to be customized, we need to be dynamic, and it's really the recognition that healthcare experiences can vary so widely. And really the key to making that happen is data-driven products. With the rapid growth of digital health, healthcare can become really just this data-driven powerhouse. And we no longer just need to rely on claims data. We can look to digital measures. The tide really began to turn with the mass adoption of EHR records driven by the federal government incentive payments that started in 2010. Most recently, that data has been joined by information streams from monitoring devices, fitness trackers, smartphones, patients' own assessments of their health, genomic data, and readily accessible population-level data on social factors that profoundly affect health, like employment status, income level, environmental quality, the level of community support, and so on. Advanced analytics can allow us to combine all of these data sources to support developing a clearer picture of health status and effectiveness of care at all levels. If we're able to harness this overwhelmingly massive data from digital health applications, providers can have just such a more comprehensive picture and understanding of the patient. Like I said, kind of this dichotomy between trying to make healthcare decisions based on the very small amount of time that they spend in a clinical setting versus an understanding and access of data on the patient as they live their lives. And it's such a huge step forward in how we think about healthcare delivery. And there's three key imperatives for us to be able to use these digital measures effectively. One is reduce the cost of data collection. If we design these tools correctly, systems such as EHR and wearable devices can generate data as a byproduct of managing care and reducing the cost of doing so. Improving the timeliness of this data. So many traditional models really use data such as insurance claims that lag care delivery by up to a year, which in many cases at that point is completely irrelevant. When data collection stops being separate from care delivery, we can go right to analysis and results. Expanding the range of usable data is another really critical component. More data on more patients will allow us to develop measures that will more accurately reflect the care needs and best treatments for specific groups or individual patients. We'll be able to account for differences in care needs depending on economic circumstances, patients' ability to manage their own care, and the quality of their social support. As I wrap up, the last thing I wanted to share about the opportunity we have in the industry when embracing digital health is the potential to play a critical role in efforts to improve health equity. Rapidly advancing technology could exacerbate exclusion and introduce unexpected biases, widen the digital divide, and continue to leave some populations behind. But it's on the technology providers and life sciences companies to instead design, build, and deploy digital health to address health equity challenges. And we see three ways that this can happen. First, by increasing healthcare access, which is limited by affordability and availability. Telehealth is a great example of digital health addressing the availability of care in rural areas. Second is by addressing unmet needs. Even after addressing access barriers to care, treatment options may be limited due to varying physician knowledge and complete information. The end result is that many underserved communities, the presentation of rare disease has a complex and long diagnosis and treatment timeline. Through population screening tools and algorithmic-driven clinical support solutions, digital health companies are looking to decrease the time it takes to diagnose these diseases and get patients to care. Lastly is by considering the historical context of the communities they serve. A community's historical experiences with the medical establishment influences individuals' comfort with seeking care and engaging with novel services. Digital health companies can factor this into how they're developing and deploying their solutions by finding creative ways to establish trust and understanding. And at its core, digital innovators have an unprecedented opportunity to think more carefully about health equity and develop new solutions to entrenched healthcare problems. And it's why venture funding for digital health companies that are targeting these social determinants of health and underserved populations is reaching new heights, with almost 100% growth year over year between 2020 and 2021. So thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. I hope you found the discussion to be informative. Another survey I recently saw reported that 6 out of 10 pharma companies believe just in the next 12 months will be such a critical time for digital health implementation. At VMS, we're incredibly excited about the future of the space. It's such an amazing time to be in patient engagement and see this increased attention, adoption, and investment from the pharmaceutical industry on pushing the patient experience forward. And we just really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you about this patient-first vision and the digitally integrated human-centered approach that we not only can deliver an experience in pharma that today's healthcare consumer is looking for, we can fundamentally change the healthcare system for the better by improving access, quality, and outcomes, all while reducing costs and inefficiencies. So thank you again.
Thank you so much, Jen, for that insightful presentation. That concludes today's discussion, but before we sign off, we just wanted to thank you, our audience, for joining us today. Today's webinar will continue to be available on demand if you want to review anything that was talked about. Thanks again for watching.